Welcome to Circle Table Talk episode pertama. Kali ini aku Gadis Lukman bersama dengan Stephanie Aliwarga akan membahas seputar the curse of being a perfectionist. Enjoy!
Thank you, Stephanie, for joining us today.
Thank you, Gadis, for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. Ini acara kita yang pertama nih. Kita mau bangkitin lagi usaha-usaha kita untuk ngobrol lebih dekat lagi sama leaders yang ada di Circle. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Dan since you're a great friend of mine juga, I hope ini kita bisa ngobrol casual. Just like our usual talk gitu kan, cause I know you pretty well, you know me pretty well juga, dan topik yang mau kita bawa hari ini lumayan rings a bell. Kita udah pernah ngomongin karena deket banget aja sama keseharian, and I think we can relate, you can relate, and you can give some of your views tentang the topic today, which is apa sih the curse of being a perfectionist or a hustler.
Okay.
Gitu.
Waduh. Topiknya lumayan deket nih ya sama keseharian kita, bener banget sih, Dis.
Yes. Nah, jadi mungkin sebelum kita masuk ke dalam topik, do you wanna give a bit of introduction in terms of your career journey gitu ya, supaya lo juga bisa ngasih gambaran kenapa sih topik ini kemudian jadi deket sama lo.
So I actually started my career in advertising. Maybe a lot of people think I started in sales, but actually no, I started in advertising di account management gitu loh. Kalau di agency, account management itu kayak the heart of the process ya, karena as the link to the client, kita tuh hub. Jadi semua orang kalau nanya lewat kita, semua orang kalau komplain lewat kita juga gitu loh. Jadi there's this perception yang mungkin selalu bawa as the hub of the whole business gitu, bahwa regardless siapa yang drop, apa yang dibutuhkan, tim account management itu nggak boleh drop gitu loh. We need to pick up to make sure that the show must go on gitu loh. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that has been carried over throughout my career even until now gitu, bahwa there's that keyakinan atau kayak kewajiban mungkin ya rasanya ya, that I need to carry on, whatever happens, the show must go on. We must make things happen. Mungkin itu sedikit dari my career journey yang mungkin akhirnya ujung-ujungnya ada di acara ini nih, The Curse of Being a Perfectionist. Sebenarnya itu true banget gitu loh.
Ya, I can imagine. Dan buat agency mungkin lebih parah lagi gitu ya, quote unquote, karena memang the heart of the business itu service kan. Yeah. Jadi emang ya yang dijual itu service. So account managementnya ini adalah service-nya itu. You don't sell a product gitu. Jadi ya mau nggak mau inilah yang jadi heart of the business, yang ya it must happen gitu ya. Yang itu yang mesti bagus, itu yang mesti perfect gitu kan. Karena kalau nggak ya you lose the client basically. Yeah. So jadi mulai kebaca ya kenapa sih Steph berkarir di dunia ini gitu ya, terus sekarang jadi seperti ini gitu kan. How do you define being a perfectionist, Steph?
Dulu tuh I used to define perfectionist as wanting to give the best of my ability of everything gitu. Which I thought it was actually a very positive thing, right? You want to give the very best of everything di setiap saat gitu. Tapi sebenarnya kadang-kadang as I grew, mungkin hopefully tambah dewasa ya, Dis ya. Then I started seeing bahwa perfectionism is not always a positive thing gitu loh. Karena sebenarnya there's no such thing as perfection, right? Kalau kita ngeliat mindset apa, it's about progress, right? Just because you achieve the best of everything doesn't mean it's the end all and be all gitu loh. Harus ada lanjutannya seperti apa gitu. Jadi buat aku perfection right now I define it not as an attempt to give the ultimate best, tapi given the condition, how to give the very best within the condition. Jadi ada terms and condition ya gitu, karena kadang-kadang kita mau ngasih yang sempurna gitu, perlu waktu 1 bulan tapi timeline 1 minggu. Then I need to switch my mindset instead of nggak mungkin kasih yang bagus, tapi oke, kita punya 1 minggu, apa yang bisa kita kasih dalam 1 minggu gitu. Nah, for me that's how I'm defining my version of perfectionism now versus dulu gitu. And to take a lot of the stress out gitu, karena I am not bound by this standard, this impossible standard yang kayak gitu tadi, yang harusnya sebulan jadi seminggu, itu kan impossible banget kan. Yang terjadi adalah there's a lot of stress that comes with that gitu.
Ya, so you said it yourself, definisinya aja udah evolve gitu. Nah, yang tadinya mungkin ya udah perfection and be it, you give your all, tanpa mungkin mempedulikan aspek-aspek yang lain gitu ya. Pokoknya gue kasih yang terbaik di sini gitu. And sometimes defying the impossible. Tapi sekarang udah mulai bisa bikin boundary nih. Ya gue tetap kasih my best, tapi ya yang within yang possible aja gitu kan. Not saying that you're not ambitious anymore, but cukup tahu gitu ya kapan kita harus bisa bikin boundary when giving our best.
Yeah.
Nah, apa sih yang terjadi sampai definisinya tuh bisa berubah?
Oke. Wah, dalam juga.
Pasti ada sesuatu dong.
Pasti ada sesuatu banget. Jadi, I think it was in one of my previous roles ya. So I was given this this account that was extremely difficult, extremely busy, dengan condition yang benar-benar jauh banget dari ideal gitu. Jadi saat itu kayak the team wasn't complete, we had to have like say misalnya dari 8 kita baru ada 3 gitu loh. So it was very tough in terms of how to deliver. Jangankan deliver absolute best ya, deliver bare minimum aja udah susah dengan keadaan saat itu gitu. And as always, I try to push myself to take on every burden, everything had to be delivered lah sesuai dengan yang diharapkan gitu. Tapi of course ada limitation yang I kept telling myself nggak bisa kok gitu. Tapi in the end it wasn't always successful gitu loh. So at that point I was really stressed karena hasilnya jauh banget dari yang gue harapkan gitu loh, gitu. And I was working so hard on myself sampai akhirnya there was somebody in the office waktu itu, sama kayak lo somebody from HR gitu. Kebetulan kita dekat, ngajak ngobrol terus, Steph, ada apa sih? Let's have a chat gitu loh. Why were you so stressed gitu loh? Dan ternyata waktu ngobrol-ngobrol sama dia itu banyak banget hal-hal yang ngebuka mata gitu loh. Nomor satu adalah by putting so much pressure on myself, waktu akhirnya hasil yang diharapkan tuh tidak sesuai gitu. And then I put even more pressure. Jadi makin stres. Satu, secara productivity bukannya makin produktif, yang ada makin gak produktif gitu kan. It doesn't help that it makes yourself feel even worse gitu. Makin jauh dari harapan, itu satu. Dan kedua, I put so much blame that I felt like I was stuck at the present rather than thinking what's next gitu loh. Dan ada satu yang dari this person told me, yang sampai sekarang tuh stuck and ring true banget gitu loh. Dia tuh bilang, you made the best decision at that time with the information that you have gitu. Karena kalau kita hindsight ya, of course hindsight selalu lebih baik ya, karena kita udah dapat full information ya gitu. Jadi the idea was that I stopped thinking about the past and what went wrong, and I realized kayak itu jadi counterproductive gitu, secara kerjaan dan juga secara mental health lah gitu. So that was the start of the switch in how I'm defining how I deliver my version of perfectionism gitu loh. Jadi stop focusing on the past, stop thinking what if I've done that, if I work more, if I stay up late, 2 more hours or 3 more hours, udah lewat juga gitu loh. Tapi jangan stop di situ gitu. And the reality is very rare, right? Kita bisa dapat misalnya mau ngejar deal gitu, 1 meeting langsung dapat, enggak. Pasti dari situ ada evolution lagi kan. Oh ternyata dia maunya gini. Oh ternyata dia maunya gini. Sehingga my version of perfection dari yang harus gue develop itu juga akan berubah dengan adanya input-input dari orang lain gitu. It's very rare lah ada satu project yang cuma 1 orang yang contribute ke dalam project itu. Nah, I think that's when I started to let go a lot of mungkin control freaknya gue gitu kali, and started to see things in a more relaxed way gitu. And then eventually I started to see actually dengan nggak seambisius itu, atau mungkin bukan nggak seambisius itu ya, tapi nggak put that much
ngoyo,
nggak ngoyo banget ya, gue malah lebih produktif gitu loh. Ya itu sih yang mulai itu. Dan nggak cuma lebih produktif ya, I felt happier, I felt light gitu loh. I learned to recognize my boundaries. Soalnya tadi waktu Gadis sempat bilang tentang boundary itu betul banget gitu, karena in the end we do what we want kan. Nggak ada orang lah yang bisa maksa kita untuk ngapa-ngapain gitu. I used to tell my team, you're not a tree gitu, nobody's pointing a head gitu, a gun to your head gitu. Jadi sebenarnya punya kontrol, kita tuh nggak helpless gitu loh. We have our own control and boundaries. Itu sih.
Ya. Oh, that strikes to my heart ya. Karena one of the revelation that I found di tahun 2021 adalah I used to think that work-life balance is found gitu. Tapi semakin kesini agak telat dewasanya Steph. Beda gitu ya. Kalau Steph mungkin udah sadar dari kemarin-kemarin gitu ya. Tapi for me it was the biggest realization bahwa no, it's actually made. You have the option untuk define your life. You have the options to define your boundaries. Tentu semuanya ada plus dan minusnya ya. You mau define agak gede, agak kecil, semua ada konsekuensinya. But you are in control. Instead of like giving it to the universe to make things happen for you, gitu kan. Nah, cuman boleh tahu nggak, Steph? Yeah. Kalau misalnya sebagai seorang perfectionist, gitu ya, do you think that help you also? Jadi kan I'm a strong believer bahwa your strength is actually it can be your weakness. Dan perfectionist itu kita hari ini memang ngomongin the curse. Tapi can you tell me more about the other side of that kengoyoan gitu ya, yang akhirnya menghalalkan segala cara untuk bisa mencapai dapat sesuatu yang akhirnya even mengorbankan diri kita sendiri. What's the other side of it? How does it help you in your career specifically?
Okay. For sure ada banyak banget ya positifnya. I agree with you. It could be a positive or negative, depends on how you act upon it, right? Positifnya sih definitely, I feel like I create my own boundary. Karena my version of perfectionism mungkin beyond dari yang diharapkan, gitu. Dari bare minimum lah. Jadi for me it wasn't just about pushing myself further gitu loh untuk bisa ini, tapi juga bagaimana quality dari kerjaannya mungkin bisa jadi lebih lagi gitu. Karena I mungkin ada salah satu gue tuh itu banget kayak I really don't, mediocrity is definitely something that I don't like gitu loh.
Yeah.
Jadi I think it's definitely wanting to push myself gitu, karena because I want to do more, but at the same time when I do more I learn more, and when I learn more I progress faster, I progress more gitu. Jadi for me definitely the good side of perfectionism adalah that self motivation that you already have gitu. Jadi nggak usah ada orang yang motivasi, oh harus gini. I already have that inside myself gitu. Dan I felt that was the most sustainable thing when you want to ngejar sesuatu lah, mau karir, mau apapun gitu loh yang dikejar gitu. Jadi definitely I think that self motivation is something that can propel you further beyond to, kalau mau misalnya beyond yang the standard lah misalnya gitu. Dulu tuh gue pernah dibilangin gini soalnya, sama ada salah satu yang I used to work with ya, kayak within 1 year I have taken so many projects that I probably did more in 1 year than more senior people took in 5 years misalnya. So this was really, really at the start of my career gitu loh. I was a junior AE at the time. And I was taking on a big project waktu itu. I had to go to Shanghai even to do this project gitu. Tapi gini, people seru ya dikirim ke Shanghai, dikirim ini bisa dapat promotion misalnya gitu. But what they didn't see for me to get that promotion gitu, because adalah the extra work, right? When I wanted to be promoted, pastinya I try to do the work beyond my current scope gitu loh, supaya bisa kelihatan kan kenapa nih harus dipromote gitu. Tapi kan waktu kita do more work yang misalnya scope yang di luar di atasnya, bukan berarti yang di bawahnya nggak dikerjain kan, Des?
Benar.
You're actually doing double, triple the work gitu loh.
Ya.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely one of the things yang people don't really realize when you do all this, ada yang that you sacrifice juga gitu. Definitely I sacrifice a lot of sleep time ya. This.
Ya. Nggak apa-apa, masih muda ya, Steph. Sekarang jangan lagi ya, Steph.
Padahal kalau kurang dari 6 jam tidur udah kayak aduh nggak bisa konsen, pusing banget.
Ya. But that's what you did kayak in the beginning kan, because you didn't know better at that time. Baru mulai, pengen aspire to be this and that, kita punya goal, masih idealis. Terus kemudian ya, I can conquer the world, why not?
Yeah.
Gitu. Tapi setelah dijalanin usia bertambah emang tidur nggak bisa bohong ya Sam. Ya. Dan itu relevan banget ya sama kita punya values gitu. Kita punya values how we take care of our well-being before kita bisa serve others optimally. Nah, how does it resonate with you, that value?
Itu resonated banget, Dis. Karena I used to think kayak bisa lah, ini bisa, I can sacrifice a little bit to give a bit more gitu loh. Tapi kadang-kadang kita lupa ya, kalau kita aja, gue tuh pernah dikasih kayak perumpamaan, kita itu punya kayak bejana gitu ya, yang isinya air. Kalau kita udah penuh, kita bisa share ke orang. Tapi kalau itu aja kosong, apa yang mau dikasih ke orang lain? Gitu. Jadi definitely gue selalu mikir kalau gue aja nggak bisa kalau gue nggak take care of myself, how can I help other people gitu? Apalagi sekarang di mana tim udah mulai makin banyak nih orangnya nih Dis gitu. There's a pressure, which is a good pressure ya that I have gitu, bahwa I need to take care of myself first, because kalau dari tim butuh bantuan dari gue, butuh support dari gue, dan gue nggak bisa deliver, itu yang gue nggak mau itu terjadi gitu loh. Karena I strongly believe in supporting gitu loh. I mean, tim-tim ini kan adalah yang menjalankan day to day setiap hari semuanya gitu. Kalau gue aja nggak bisa backup mereka, which untuk membackup mereka gue juga harus sehat dong, gue harus juga mentally and physically sehat gitu, capable. Dan definitely itu sesuatu yang gue resonate banget gitu, karena gue nggak mau mengecewakan mereka, tapi gue juga aware, gue nggak merasa gue superhuman at this stage. Gue tahu gue bukan superhuman banget lah. Gitu. Jadi in order untuk bisa bantu, untuk bisa jadi a good part of the team adalah ya I have to be my best self juga gitu. Because if I don't have my best self, then how can I give to others gitu loh? Yang dikasih jadi nggak bener juga gitu. Itu sih.
Ya.
Dan terutama berasa banget pas mulai punya banyak team members ya, when you have people relying on you gitu. Ya. Ada
kejadian yang memorable nggak sih yang membuat the value resonates with you a lot?
Maybe nggak satu spesifik kejadian kali ya. Tapi my team might kill me if I tell this. Gitu. So, ada pernah kejadian 1 bulan selama di Oramila. That was probably the hardest month we ever had this gitu loh. Like, it was the busiest month that we ever had at that point in time. But it was all, kalau kita lihat secara achievement angka, it was the worst month we've ever had the whole history that I was here gitu loh. It was really tough gitu loh. It was really tough mentally gitu loh. And I didn't know, I only found out later berapa the team was really affected by that gitu loh. Even though I try to stay strong, but they know lah, gue juga stres juga gitu, kayak ngeliat angka, pusing juga nih Dis gitu.
Ya.
And then I realized bahwa at that time mereka tuh berusaha kuat juga, tapi kayak it hit them so hard sampai katanya tuh as a group they even like sampai nangis gitu loh, karena mereka ngerasa what happened gitu loh, we worked so hard, we were at the top of the world, then damn everything changed gitu loh within dalam 1 bulan gitu. Dan di situ ya gue benar-benar merasa gue harus lebih kuat lagi gitu, karena kalau gue aja udah crumble, kebayang dong tim gue yang udah kayak udah kecewa, udah mentally pasti down gitu. Jadi ya di situ satu yang gue makin yakin banget bahwa makin berat keadaannya, makin gue harus makin kuat. Dan untuk gue bisa makin kuat, gue harus bisa take care of myself gitu. Karena kalau gue crumble, apalagi timnya gitu. Di situ ya kejadian yang kayak buat gue bener-bener kayak kena banget dan makin meyakinkan gue, udah ini emang bener harus makin kayak gini gitu.
Iya. And as a perfectionist myself gitu ya, itu kejadian-kejadian kayak gitu biasanya jadi tamparan gitu kan. Persis di kejadian kayak gitu, your effort is maximum, even extra, tapi hasilnya sometimes it's not within your control.
Yeah.
Some of the realization that I had juga semakin dewasa ini ceritanya adalah bahwa emang iya ada sekali banyak hal yang di luar kontrol kita. gitu ya. Dan sebagai perfectionist biasanya ada punya cenderungan gitu ya. We want everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
We want everything to be as what we imagine gitu. Jadinya sangat-sangat terganggu dan sangat-sangat kayak down banget ketika gila men, effortnya udah gede banget, tapi ternyata kejadiannya tidak sesuai dengan apa yang kita harapkan. Do you have any sort of tips or mantra or whatever it is to help people like me, Steph?
Ada sih. Satu yang bikin gue mulai bisa itu adalah understanding what is within your control and what is not within your control gitu. Jadi when I approach things now, kalau memang itu udah di luar kontrol gue, ya gue harus bisa let go gitu loh. You've done your best ya, God will do the rest lah istilahnya gitu. And then kalau itu udah not within your control, udah gitu loh, udah nggak usah dipikirin lagi, karena no matter what effort that you wanna put, no matter how much mental energy that you're putting in it, there's nothing you can do about it gitu loh. And then understanding yang mana yang within my control. Nah, yang within my control itu yang akan abis-abisan lah gue kejar, coba ini, coba itu gitu. And I think it helped me a lot karena dulu semua dipikirin, jadi kan kayak double. Kalau ini kan at least setengah udah hilang nih, gue udah tahu nih, at least gue udah nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain. Udah do yang terbaik. Jadi kalau sampai itu nggak work, itu gue udah nggak terlalu down apa gimana lagi gitu. Jadi kayak oh ya udah, emang berarti salah. Pokoknya udah nyoba semuanya, ini udah di luar kontrol gue gitu. So I don't focus on that too much. In mental energy gitu. Tapi then I can just shift my focus on the things that I can change, the things that are within my control gitu. Dan biasanya kan what's within our control itu kita ya kita bisa lebih bisa lebih produktif, kita bisa lebih menentukan apa yang mau kita lakukan gitu. Dan mungkin X factor yang di luar kontrol kita karena lebih sedikit, stresnya juga agak lebih turun sih gitu ya, kalau dari gue gitu. Dan akhirnya kan kalau hasilnya memang nggak sesuai ya, buat gue, I just learn another new thing yang nggak work gitu loh. Tapi bukan berarti itu kan the ultimate thing. Ya udah, satu nggak work, masih ada 2, masih ada 3, masih ada 4, masih ada 5 gitu loh. Jadi aside from just understanding which is within your control and which is not, adalah the sense of finality itu nggak ada lagi gitu loh sekarang. Kalau nggak bisa ya udah, ini one way that doesn't work, tapi kita nggak berhenti di situ. And I think that was the biggest change that I felt to manage my stress, definitely gitu. Especially those that come from work gitu.
Nah, ini agak loncat dikit nih, soalnya tadi you covered this a bit ya, when talking about taking care of yourself. Sometimes itu as a leader punya, especially with the growing team members, it's not easy. Biasanya ambisius goalnya, team membernya makin lama makin banyak, problemnya makin lama makin kompleks, ekspektasinya juga makin lama makin tinggi gitu. What's your definition of taking care of yourself? Apakah self-care, self-pampering, ataukah kayak, gue ikutan course Udemy, many different ways of taking care of yourself. What's your secret?
Okay. Di akhir-akhir ini kayak hot topic ya, orang bilangnya healing, tapi sebenarnya bukan healing ya.
Spontan banget tuh. Gue mau pakai jawaban itu kan?
Bukan. Mungkin healing part of self-care. Okay, maybe not in this context saya. Tapi self-care yang gue berasa pertama kali itu adalah I need to also prioritize myself. Jadi dulu tuh gue kayak bener-bener kalau udah bekerja, bodo amat deh, enggak, I miss family events, I miss little moments where I take care of myself that I enjoy, misalnya putting on skincare in the morning gitu loh, or dressing up to go to work gitu, yang simple kayak gitu aja gitu. All in the name of work, untuk nge-save waktu yang berapa sih, paling 15 menit, 30 menit paling lama gitu. And then makin kesini, I realized more bahwa those little things that I sacrifice yang secara nambahin kerjaan mungkin incremental kecil banget gitu ya, tapi impactnya adalah besar banget gitu, kayak you're so rushed, so you're not in the right mindset to work, right? Because sometimes kayak orang kayak gue tuh gak bisa langsung kerja gitu loh. I need like that 15-30 minutes just to get myself, organized, put myself together gitu. Okay, ready, dan habis itu baru gue masuk kerja gitu loh. Nah, definisi gue self care itu ya itu gitu. Putting that time for yourself, it doesn't have to be big things gitu, bukan kayak holiday gitu. Gue membuktikan ternyata, yes, gue suka banget liburan, tapi ternyata gue masih bisa survive nih di pandemi, belum gila gitu kali. Tapi it's the little things that I spend myself to prep myself that I feel is my time gitu loh. Yang orang lain tuh kerjaan nggak bisa masuk. So that is my 30 minutes in the morning getting ready gitu loh. Having my tea in the morning, having my breakfast, putting on skincare gitu. Atau itu juga salah satu self care buat gue adalah waktu gue selesai kerja, jam berapapun itu ya, gitu ya. Waktu gue memutuskan gue selesai kerja, mindset gue itu udah bener-bener gue akan nggak mikirin kerja sama sekali. Mau ada yang jelek, mau ada masalah, tapi itu udah waktu gue gitu. Bukan berarti gue tutup pasti jam 6, ini bisa aja terjadi jam 9 malam, jam 10 malam gitu, tergantung keadaan. Tapi there was that clear boundary that once I stop work, that's my time. And that's the time yang bisa diambil dari kerjaan gitu. So it's that sense of control that I had, which I think is my self care gitu. Dan itu bukan hal-hal yang difficult yang harus punya ada spa berapa kali seminggu atau going on holiday. Apparently it's not that, but it's really the little steps that you prioritize yourself every day gitu. Yeah, that's my definition of self care these days.
Iya. In which gue susah loh melakukannya gitu ya, karena I really want to have that mental compartmentalization. Kalau gue udah berhenti kerja, ya udah stop gitu. Tapi jujur aja, kepalanya biasanya suka mikir-mikir nih. All the way ke bawah sampai tidur nih, Steph. Jadi persis sebelum tidur tuh masih kepikiran, oh iya yang ini belum dikerjain, oh iya si ini mesti gini. Nah, any tips for me how to deal with that, Steph?
Wah, tipsnya apa ya? Kalau gue sih waktu itu nggak ada tips yang gimana banget ya. Cuman I was just at a point where I told myself, wah nggak bisa kayak gini terus nih. Kalau maju gini, gue nggak akan sustainable karir gue gitu loh, atau apapun yang gue achieve lah. Karena of course after 2 or 3 years, then you start to feel the burnout, right? And it's so dangerous because then you kind of get stuck on that gitu. Dan itu udah mulai impact to personal life, kayak misalnya you snap more easily, right, when you're stressed gitu loh. The relationship is definitely mulai banyak ya karena snap itu gitu. Jadi you have problems with relationship with with everyone, especially people that are closest to you, right? Because you're not gonna express that to people who are not close to you gitu. Dan I think at that point waktu itu I had a bit of a kayak sakit lah gitu ya gitu, yang gue dipaksa harus istirahat gitu loh, Des. Dan waktu lagi sakit itu terus gue mikir gitu loh, and then I had my closest people basically checking up on me, right? If I'm okay, if there's anything that they can do for me. And then I realized at that point bahwa, oh my God, in my pursuit of career or whatever that I wanted at the time ya, I sacrificed the people that I thought would never leave me gitu, the people who actually matter the most gitu loh. And that's not right gitu loh. Jadi it was that point of realization bahwa wah nggak bisa kayak gini terus. Itu yang bikin gue snap. Jadi maksa gue untuk disiplin dengan yang kayak tadi, setting that boundary gitu. Karena eventually if I don't work on that, there's a realization that I will lose the things that matter that I take for granted. And when pas lagi kesusahan ya, atau lagi nggak enak, these are the people who that matters, that you sacrifice your time with gitu. So I think sometimes susah ya kalau kasih tips apa enggak gitu. Tapi I think there's always that point where you realize it's like that tipping point, right? When you realize which way do you want to go, because this is no longer possible to continue like this.
Yeah, thank you. Very much resonates with me ya. Soalnya that sustainability gitu kan. As a perfectionist, kita mungkin stumble upon itu juga kan. Kita maksain for the sake of perfection that doesn't exist. We sometimes sacrifice ourselves, sometimes we sacrifice our families. Tapi kemudian realize bahwa well, it's not sustainable. You can probably do it 1 to 3 years, by the time you're old, you also realize your body cannot sustain. Jadi jadi that shift of mindset sih memang perlu terjadi ya, supaya bisa menerima keadaan dengan lebih baik, knowing our boundaries gitu ya, knowing bahwa I had this I read this piece before gitu ya, Warren Buffett, kalau nggak salah ya Warren Buffett, dia pernah cerita tentang coba deh kalau lu dikasih lu umur 17 nih, lu boleh pilih satu mobil yang lu paling demen dikasih gratis buat lu. Which car would you choose? Gitu kan. Tapi ada syaratnya nih. Lu cuman boleh punya satu mobil itu seumur hidup lu. Gitu.
Wah.
But the bottom line yang dia pengen kasih adalah kalau ketika kita dikasih kayak gitu tuh, kita bakal pilih mobilnya, terus kita rawat mobilnya, kita lapin gitu ya, di maintenance apa segala macam, because we know that's our only car in this world gitu. And yet we didn't do the same with our body. Sometimes kita kayak ya udah take it for granted kan. Kayak ya udah selama puluhan tahun ini dia baik-baik aja membawa saya ke sana dan ke sini, tapi we didn't realize bahwa we actually have one body in this entire life. And if we don't take care of it properly, then probably sometimes, you know, at any given point in time, it may, you know, fail on us gitu kan, karena ya tidak dirawat dengan baik. Jadi for the sake of sustainability, if you wanna do impactful things, gitu ya, nggak ada gunanya kalau nggak sustainable juga, gitu. Nggak ada gunanya kalau lu cuma punya 1-2 tahun, lu make a lot of impact, tapi abis itu kemudian lu tumbang, gitu kan. Itu gue banget ya. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's very, you know, it touches me very deeply to my soul and to my core, karena relevan banget sama apa yang dihadapin sehari-hari. Mungkin for the last segment gitu, Steph, anything you want to share to our audience gitu ya? How do we work on ourselves? How do we improve ourselves from time to time? Apapun itu kondisinya, mungkin ada yang perfeksionis, mungkin ada yang nggak perfeksionis, whatever it is. How do we improve ourselves from time to time?
How? I think definitely improving ourselves itu mungkin kan how we wanna be better, right? Mungkin kadang-kadang ada yang segini betternya, mungkin nanti ada yang segini, tapi sebenarnya mau segini, both are progress gitu loh. And I think improving ourselves means like taking credit for every progress that happens. Karena kalau segini tiap hari, lama-lama segini juga gitu. Segini tahun sekali ya juga ya still big progress, tapi mungkin frekuensinya lebih kecil gitu loh. Jadi definitely harus ada the desire to want to move forward. Dan kedua, when you move forward, give credit to yourself gitu. Karena every little thing is a progress, right? And when you give credit to yourself, ya you feel good, so you don't want to stop gitu loh. Dan never discount your achievement, karena progress is progress, right? I mean, achieving perfection at this stage, I'd like to think maybe I'm more of a hustler than a perfectionist these days gitu.
Yeah.
Because I feel that perfection doesn't exist anymore. But for me, yang gak boleh berhenti tuh adalah every little thing is progress, dan itu yang harus ada terus gitu loh. Even as progress, akhirnya besok udah bisa bangun jam 7 gitu, nggak jam 8 gitu, karena bangun jam 7, you know, you wake up earlier, you have more time misalnya. That's the progress, right? Being able to a laptop gitu loh at jam berapa and shut ourselves from work biar besok bisa segar lagi, that's progress gitu. So progressnya apa itu harus di-define sendiri, tapi nggak boleh berhenti pursue that progress gitu.
And celebrate ya. Give credit to yourself. Nggak semua hanya big progress kok yang bisa give credit. Ya credit bukan belanja terus ya, maksudnya as much as I love that gitu loh. Cuman kadang-kadang it's just acknowledging that little, I've done well. Udah gitu. You feel good gitu. Ya. Itu kok kayak masih belajar, Seth.
Nanti gue ingetin guys. Jadi gue ingetin lo untuk Vino, abis itu gue inget, what have you done well today guys. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing everything. I think it's such a nice discussion with you today. We talked about, you know, how being perfectionist, plus and minusnya kayak gimana gitu ya, your experience,
what changed your definition, terus kemudian a bit of tips how to deal with that. So I think we had a fruitful discussion today. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add?
No, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.